Mountain biking is the biggest participation sport in South Africa. We have beautiful trails, great events, and nothing quite compares to riding out in the veld. But more and more mountain bikers are being hijacked. It was next to this quarry near Botha Avenue in Centurion that a lone cyclist was attacked.
I was coming across the railway line over there. I heard this guy from behind and he grabbed hold of my saddle. He looked angry and I shouted at him to just, leave me alone, and that's the last I remember.
She was late, we got worried, and we followed the route that we thought she would take. We found a hydration pack lying on the path, and then a bit later came across Matilda lying next to the fence, bleeding profusely and unconscious.
I was stabbed in the neck with a shears, just half of a shears.
Garden shears?
Garden shears.
Severed an artery. The clipper went between two of the vertebrae and actually touched her spinal cord, so she was badly injured.
And I was in a coma for a month. When I got out of the coma, I was placed into rehab, and I was there for a month. I had to learn to walk again. I had speech therapy, physiotherapy, and so my life has changed completely.
But the attacker didn't steal her bicycle. All he took was her cell phone. Matilda's balance has been affected and she can no longer ride a bike, but that hasn't stopped her hitting the trails on a tandem with her husband.
It's not often on Carte Blanche that we have too many case studies to choose from. But for this story, our producer really had to narrow it down and decide which hijacking or bikejacking to highlight. And there really has been a huge increase in this crime over the past few months.
In March, Alec Lambrechts was cycling alone in Krugersdorp when he was attacked and stabbed 7 times.
As I turned right, he was sprinting towards me, tried to grab me off my handlebars. I fell down and he was on top of me. And I grabbed the pepper spray and I sprayed him. Took a knife out of his pocket and he opened the knife and I think he first stabbed me in my lung in the back on the right-hand side. There's another one in the back on my tricep. And I turned around and I faced him and I thought, I need to fight this guy. And he cut my tendons off on my left arm.
Jeez, that looks quite bad.
That's it, yeah. That's one, yeah. And I had him by this hand and he was left-handed and he stabbed me all over here. One in the chest here as well. And he was talking to me in a calm voice the whole time. He said to me, "Sit down, I'm going to kill you. Sit down, I'm going to kill you." And I thought, you're not going to kill me, not today. I'm going to fight here. As I bumped him away, I heard a voice in my head saying, trust me. And I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, and I believe in God. And for that moment, I just pointed at him and I said to him, in the name of Jesus Christ, you can't hurt me. I command you to stop. And he stopped.
Alex spent 2 nights in ICU and needed extensive surgery on his wrist. He's since started a Facebook group and will never cycle alone again.
I think if you ride alone, you die alone.
But even larger groups have been attacked. Francois Castel and John and Mertz Daniel were part of a group of 6 cyclists ambushed by 7 hijackers at Nandi in June.
He actually tried to inflict a wound in my shoulder with his knife. And then Mertz saw him and shouted, "There's somebody at the back as well." Anyway, so they got us to lie down and they took our shoes immediately. Because he said to Mertz, she must go into the bushes and we must go forward, And Mertz, with the crisis and the shock, actually walked into the bushes with this one person with a knife. And I realized this is not on, there's something going on. So I walked to her and I took her by the hand and said, "Come with me." And the chap actually, in that point, pulled his trigger. And it was unfortunately a misfire.
Mertz, if John hadn't intervened, do you think he might have been raped?
I don't want to think about it, but yes, I think my friends would have helped me.
While their victims lay on the ground, the hijackers made off with the 6 bikes.
Yeah, apart from the trauma here, how big was their haul in monetary value?
A bike like this is around 30,000 Rand. Also, items like gloves, cell phones, wallets, that kind of thing.
The police officer totaled it up to 275,000 Rand.
A bike used to be a way to get to school, and if you had a Sturmey Archer 3-speed, you were at the top of your game. But now it's a high-tech world with radical materials, and a bike like this can cost as much as a small car.
Anything up to probably 70, 80,000, and probably a norm would be the kind of bikes that are going are probably in the 30, 40,000 rand range.
Andrew McLean is a legend in South African cycling, having won every major event both on and off-road, and says bike jacking is affecting his business.
There's two big hotspots just northwest of Midrand and Irene, and almost weekly now there's some story of a near miss or a hijacking.
So riding on your own through isolated areas like this is not the wisest thing to do. And as we've seen, large groups have also been attacked. In fact, earlier this year, an organized mountain bike event in Irene was also hit by hijackers. Thankfully, a concerted effort by police and the community has made a big difference.